Hello everyone, this is I Cannot Get a Free Name on YouTube. Today I'm going to attempt to take apart and repair, or see if I can repair, this fairly massive Acer all-in-one. It's an Aspire C24-1600, and you will see what the issue is. Turn it on and it powers on, and you can already kind of see what's going on there. Something's definitely not right with the screen. To me, that looks very much like what laptops sometimes do when the cable that goes between the laptop screen and the base of the laptop gets fatigued over time by closing the lid and opening the lid, closing the lid, and the wires in that bundle that go around the hinge then fatigue and make contact, or don't make enough contact, or get interference between the wires or something. This, which doesn't have any moving parts within it, is doing very much the same thing. So I'm going to see whether there's any cable between the LCD panel and the base motherboard or baseboard or whatever, the main board of the machine, to stop this from happening. If I plug an HDMI lead into this machine, this problem does not happen on the external monitor, so I don't think it is a graphics card or graphics memory problem. So let's get to it. I'm going to remove the SD card placeholder. So let's remove some stuff so I get better access. So I've removed the bottom stand, and now I'm trying to remove this bit of plastic which covers the bracket that stand goes on. Let's see if I can remove that. Cool. Definitely a lot of tight tolerance there. Now we've got 4 screws here. So frustratingly, this machine is only about 13 months old, or maybe 14 months old, which is a bit weak for a bit of consumer electronics. But the other frustrating thing is this was bought through a business account, so the consumer protection laws in the UK don't apply. Otherwise, if it was bought under a personal account, you'd just go back to Acer, or the retailer probably, and grumble at them and say that the thing they've sold is not fit for purpose. It should have lasted a reasonable amount of time. See if I can brighten this up, because we're working in a dark area of the screen, or of the office. No, I'm afraid that's your lot. That's the brightest I can go on my camera. These screws are in awkward locations. Let's see if I can move this forward a bit. Nearly dropped that screw. If it disappears onto the carpet, it's likely to never come back, because that's the way screws work. 2 more to go. Right, so I can see a bracket goes through from this plastic there and there, and there's a bit of metal potentially related which goes through there as well. So I can now get my finger under there, and something just unclipped further along here. Let's see if I can do the same on the other side and do it symmetrically. Trying not to kick the camera. Yep, there we go. That's 2 of them unclipped. Let's see where else. Aha. So we're quite well undone along basically this bottom half. So I now need to figure out how to unclip the rest of it. So looking down or into the machine, I can see some fairly substantial plastic clips here, probably there and possibly somewhere else. Aha! That side is undone. So basically I slid it that way. I'm careful with this bit of metal, and probably over here I've got to be careful over that bit of metal. So this one's undone. I'll try the same over here. So when we do undo it, I've got to be careful. There is a fly lead there, which I might undo now. You don't really want the cover to go flying and rip that with it. So I've undone that as well. That side is definitely undone. Aha, I've got one, there's now only 2 more clips holding it in. And we're done. There is another, I see it's for the 2 speakers, there's another speaker connector over there that also should really be undone before you start this process. And there we have, that back cover is undone. What do we have in this machine? I've never actually thought about what might be within this all-in-one. Right, let's put that up right and see if I can get that better in frame for you. It's heavy, so I'm not going to try lifting it, I'm afraid. What we have over here is Wi-Fi card over there. Storage, which is a Kingston branded 250 gigabyte NVMe, maybe, otherwise it'll be an M2 SATA. Some RAM, interestingly it's upgradable, there's an unused slot, and it's not soldered onto the board, so that is a user swappable RAM as well, which is nice to see. CPU is presumably under this, and CPU cooling fan, which weirdly, wow. Let me see if I can show you this. So that is a bit of plastic, which was, when I took the cover off, let's see whether I can get that. Yeah, right. So that cover goes on there, and this grill, or fan vent, I really don't know whether you can see that, I'm really sorry about the brightness. Yeah, I can see it's not focusing, so no. Doing the best I can. Anyway, here, along there, is where there's a fan vent. However, if I pull this cover away again, that fan vent is fully covered by this bit of plastic. That is folded over, and considering these things here are the clips which hold that back thing on, that's folded over the CPU vent. Why would they do that? It's basically blocking and reducing the effectiveness of the cooling of the machine. So I don't know whether that's a manufacturing fault or by design for some reason. But I'm going to move that lower down. Wonder whether it's aesthetics to stop you seeing a silver bit through the top of the machine. If anyone does take theirs to bits, I'd be interested to know if yours has that same problem or thing. And interestingly, the whole thing seems like it's mounted on an LCD, on the LCD panel. So there's no, if you wanted to change the LCD, you basically have to take the motherboard off, replace probably this entire thing, put the motherboard back on the new one. Right, we've got the Wi-Fi aerial there. Surprised there's only one of them. And for the bit I want to repair or replace, also let's have a quick look at these. So with the other one I took apart ages and ages ago, probably 10 years ago, similar thing, this little bezel at the bottom gets you into the little ribbon connectors that go onto the LCD panel. But let's see what we can find on this motherboard to do with the video connector. So I'm going to assume it's probably under one of these. That's probably it. It's the only multi-pin connector onto the board. So let's basically undo it and reseat it, which is really all I can do. So I suspect, in fact let's probably just change the orientation and rotation of the cable, because say in laptops what happens is this fatigues, or because it gets bent and unbent, like you're opening and closing the lid, it generally just fatigues the cable. So that must go on to... I'm interested to see what's underneath this. Ah yeah, a multi-pin connector onto the LCD panel. I would be keen to reseat that, but it looks like this motherboard is on top of it. And can I be bothered to take the whole motherboard off? Yes, why not? It might make for an interesting video, even if it doesn't solve the problem. So, need the typical jeweler's type screwdriver to take the Wi-Fi card off. And that's the only stuff going onto the board that will stop me moving it. Could undo this one. Where would that go to? Wonder what that is. That's seeming quite difficult to undo. So I will leave that. Won't stop me moving the motherboard out of the way. So let's undo the motherboard screws, which also means undoing the screws onto the bottom power button and power LED. Oh, I see there are two aerials. So interestingly, one's at the back there, on the left, just under my forearm there, and the other one is cleverly, built into the underside of the machine on the power button, which is a clever place to put it because it keeps it out of, or gets it protruding from underneath the machine, so that any metal in the back of the machine isn't blocking the signal. So that's undone that side. I've got probably 2, maybe 3 more screws. That's a slightly different size screw, which is stupid. And so is this one. Can we lift the motherboard up? Yes, we can. Ooh, there's another ribbon connector onto something there. Watch out for that. So this, that'll be for the webcam. So, wow, okay. We can't undo that webcam one because the little flip release connector and generally plugging it back in is going to be a nightmare because it's underneath the CPU heatsink. So I'm actually going to look and see to unplug this stubborn connector here. Which does not want to undo, so can I flip that out of the way whilst also keeping that vaguely usable? Okay, right, that's not ideal, but it's workable. I'll probably move that a little bit. So this definitely uses a lot of laptop construction techniques with all these little black... Oh, there goes the motherboard. Ah, we've got the BIOS battery on the underside there. Right, so I'm going to undo these clips and undo the video lead. So squeeze those clips on either side and ease that video connector out. Ah, nope, I see there's yet more sticky tape. So let's keep that there. So that's underneath this silver. So we need to undo it at the top here. Alright, that's another bit of sellotape undone. Now let's see if we can unplug that. Yeah, there we go, super easy. And in fact, if we did need to replace this video lead, that's now fully released. So if you did need it, don't know whether this is a serial number or a model number, that's it there, Zebra 238. Now I'm just going to instantly plug it back in. That bit's the motherboard end, so we need to put this back in this side. So all this could be is one of these minuscule wires in here, somewhere in this bundle, or a wiring loom making contact. But quite often with the laptops you can solve it just by moving the bundle around. It will go wrong again, but this, where the machine doesn't get moved, and doesn't have any hinging parts, it might, if this solves it, it might stay working forever. So let's see. So that's now plugged in. Let's make sure that's plugged in securely. Definitely is now. Put that bit of tape down. Got this bit of tape over here. That needs to go back across there as well. Motherboard can go back down. Need to untangle all of those, put the power button back in its place, was that way around, with its little tangs going down into a void here. Those screw holes line up. And the 2 extra screws for the motherboard. Wireless card can go back. And plug the video lead back in, but do I want to try and put some unnatural bend on it? I probably do, so basically that it's sitting different to any way that it's previously sat, in case the way it was sat was causing 2 of the wires to make contact when they shouldn't. So let's just basically twist the wire around so that it can't be in the same way that it previously was. Stick that back down. Now I can probably give this a go without putting the back case back on. Yes, I can do so. Let's see what we find with this. The machine is on. No. Made a bit of difference, but it's not usable really. So while it's on, then the next thing will be, if I wiggle some of the connectors around, can I find anything which stops that jumping around on the screen? So let's rest this on something there. Let's see how quickly this can turn into dropping and smashing the machine. Now, so if I wiggle the video connector, I can cause it to get worse, but it doesn't solve it. Yeah, it's absolutely definitely got... Ooh! Yeah, it's that video connector. So the one that I took out earlier, the one with the Zebra 238, is definitely the cause. I've just managed to roll it over onto the power button and turn the machine off. Haha, there's nothing more permanent than a temporary solution. I think I found that if I run the cable like that, it then seems to work. Rather than attempt to find that cable, or at least I'll do this temporarily and then see whether we need to improve it in the future, I'm going to see if I can hold this down like that. Which probably means using some electrical tape. This tape only needs to be very temporary until I get the cover over the top, in which case it'll then hold it in place as well. This is mainly just to stop it popping off while I get the cover in place. That's held down. Let's see if I can plug the speakers in. Oh word, these are fiddly connectors. That's one plugged in, and the other is that one plugged in as well. Right, that lead is still held vaguely in the position. So, need to... That's got some of those clicked in. Some of those clipped in, and that is now trying to drop down back where it came from. So I think we are nearly there. Oh, I do see actually that that webcam cable has become slightly wedged under over here. I'm just going to try and push that back up into the case before clicking it down. There we go. Looking pretty good on this side and feeling pretty good over there, so I think that's done. Before I start screwing everything together again, let's see if it's now looking like it's still working with the case put onto it as well. So these machines were a bit funny when you first unpacked and set them up. In fact, the power light has gone off, and now when I press the power they will not turn on. And I believe when I first set them up there was some strange problem where if you try to turn them on immediately after plugging them in, they would do nothing and essentially do what they've done there, which is they then won't switch on. So I'm going to turn it off at the mains for a little bit and then try again. Aha! And there we are. I do hope and believe that that's solved. We'll see what it looks like in Windows. Looking good. Right now it's going to be looking for an Active Directory domain that doesn't exist, so it's just going to sit there for a bit before it moves on to the next step. Hey, there we go. And no graphical glitches or corruption. So that cable is the problem. Ideally, the proper solution would be swap out that cable, but if you're lucky like me and don't mind bodging things, then just finding a position where the cable will work reliably is also an option. Yeah, hopefully that's been really helpful to you. As I said, it would be really nice for me, I'd love it if you could subscribe. You don't need to have the video notifications switched on, but the subscriber numbers really do help and make me feel quite happy. Have a good day. See ya. Oh right, and for those that might want to see the machine being put back together, I will also video that. I'll leave it on because there's no reason to turn it off, I think, while I do this. I'm going to start by all of these screws along the bottom here. I'm doing the far left side screw. And do the middle screw. Whoa, don't want to drop it, because once it goes on the carpet it's near impossible to find. Two more of these screws on the underside to go. And one where the camera is in the way, so let's figure out how to do that. I do have another screw to go, one over here. Then we've got this screw here, which attaches, I think, on a big bracket to this metal thing, the plate here which holds the stand. So screw that in very well. Then we need to put the stand back on there. Little vanity cover for where those screws go. Then the foot, where did I put the foot? It goes on there. That's it. Alright, put that up right again. Change your view. We can put the fake or SD card placeholder in there, turn the machine around, and it's still working. It was showing 08 just a moment ago, it is now showing 09, so the machine's moving. But yeah, success! Yay!